Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can also see my face. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Please, if you can hear me, let me know.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I see. Good afternoon. So we just wait for it. Um, with your friends, chat with your team members, tell them that the meeting has started so they can also join. This is not a meeting for PMs alone. This is not a meeting for just designers. This is not a meeting for developers alone. This is a meeting for everybody. So tag everyone, tell them that they should be here, they should be here, they should be here, they should be here. In the next 4 or 5 minutes, we'll be starting. Tag everyone and let them join the call. Tag everyone, let them join the call. Let people know that the meeting has started. Tag everyone. This is not a meeting that anyone should miss. This is not a meeting that anyone should miss. So tag everyone, let them join the call. You can send a message to people on Discord. You can also send them a message on WhatsApp. I can't see anyone sending any message. I can't see us sending a message. If people are finding it hard to join, please let me know. If people are finding it hard to join, please let me know. Send messages. Send messages to people so that they can join the call. Send messages so that people can join the call. I want to have half the team here before I start. I want to have half of the team here before I start. Wake people up, wake people up, wake people up. Some people may be sleeping. Some people may be tired, sleeping. Wake them up, send a message, call your friend, phone a friend, phone a friend, phone a friend, let them know that the meeting has started. I need half the team here and then I'll start. This is not a meeting that we should miss because the person talking to us is not somebody you meet just anyhow. It's not someone you just, you just meeting now. No, no, no. No, it's not somebody you just meet anyhow. And I'm sure we are going to get gold today. We are going to get gold out of everything we are going to hear. This person is a seasoned full stack engineer, is a tech lead. That I don't think there is any part of tech that he doesn't even know about. He can single-handedly build a website from start to finish without the help of anybody. And I'm being sincere. I'm not even capping right now. So the person that we are bringing on board is not someone that we shouldn't listen to. He has been in the tech space for a very, very long time. Before I even started dreaming of becoming a tech person, he has been in the tech business. So if you are not calling your friends to join this space, you are wrong. We'll be starting very, 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 very soon. We'll be starting very soon. In 2 minutes time, we'll be starting. Call your friends to join this call. Call your team members to join the call. Call your team members to join the call. Precious, if you can call the group, if you can just send a message to, or just call the group so that everyone can wake up.
Okay, ma.
It's all right. Thank you. If you can fund the group, if you have another WhatsApp group, because I know you guys would have decided to create a different WhatsApp group. So if you have created a separate WhatsApp group, call that group, wake people up, and let them join. Call the group, wake people up. It won't be nice that people will join in the middle and then they'll be lost. They'll be wondering where we are coming from, where we are going to. They'll be saying, oh, do we have the recording? Oh, please, I missed it. I slept off. I went to buy Gary, and before I came back, you guys were done. So let us join, let us join, let us join, let us join, let us join. Let us join. Now, before we get into someone said I should tell you that today is the day of encounters. Okay, it is singular, encounter. Said today is the day of encounter. So don't let anybody gist you about today. Be here live and direct. Be here live and direct. Don't let anybody tell you what happened or what went down. Aha. Don't let anybody give you the gist of what went down. Be here to tell the tale yourself. So before, I think after this meeting, we would, after the meeting, we would then talk about our own project and how far we've gone on both sides. But of course, time is always money. And we don't want to, take the time of our notable guest because he has been in our midst. In fact, he was one of the first people that joined, which tells you that time is very, very important in anything you're doing. So we are going to be giving the floor to our guest for today. But before we give the floor to our guest, I'll just read a bit about him. Maybe when he comes on board, he's going to talk about himself as well. I don't know. But I'm just going to talk about him, the little that I know about him. His name is Rotimi Olasheinde. Rotimi Olasheinde is versatile in software development. So when I say is a developer to the core, he can actually handle a project from start till finish without the assistance of even a designer or a developer or anybody. Can do everything himself. He's a full stack engineer. He also has mechanical engineering roots. He has deep Python experience. I feel like he's even more in love with Python than with any other language. I feel he's more, I think he's I don't know, the bits that I know about him, I've seen him use Python for so many things. He's also into artificial intelligence and blockchain. He leads different projects across web applications, and he blends engineering discipline with entrepreneurial vision. So as much as he's a tech person, he's also a businessman. He's a tech person, he's a tech guy, a tech bro, and he's also a businessman. He has built lots of applications over time, and with this, I want us to give a standing ovation or a clapping emoji ovation to Rotimi Olasheinde as he unmutes his mic and takes the floor. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping.
Good afternoon.
It's
Good
not
afternoon.
fair.
I'm laughing because Esther has really really colored me well, and all these things she's been saying about not needing a product designer. Please, oh, I do need a product designer. In fact, in our project, see, and I believe that's one of the reasons why we're having this conversation on collaboration and communication. I'm not sure I'll be here if there is no collaboration or any form of collaboration in any of the work that we do. So as much as I appreciate the beautiful color, oh please, we work with the whole team, product manager, product designers, web developers, front end and back end whenever needed. And indeed, it is true. Yeah, they have full stack development experience. Yes, I can build the website from scratch to finish. But if you want to work efficiently and effectively as much as possible, you want to be able to work with a team or teams. I've actually had the opportunity to work with several teams. Actually built several teams myself as well, and I think that will be some of the things that I'll be covering today, and seeing the two C's that are important in teamwork. Thank you so much, Esther. I was laughing while you were introducing it, but I didn't want to omit. Thank you so much. Okay, so like as rightly been said, my name is Rotimi Olasende. I'm technology lead and founder of Overbrim. I appreciate look up Julia Observe. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to speak on to us about the two C's of teamwork. I've actually been in the tech space for about 8 years now. And yeah, I have experience in various tech stack from web development. I actually started as a data analyst using Python, and I believe perhaps that's one of the reasons why Esther mentions that I use Python for many things. Yes, Python was my first programming language, so of course it was my first love, and I stayed with Python for quite a long time. So I'm able to use Python for these various use cases, and she's and see me use Python for various use cases as well. So that's what she was referencing. And my blockchain experience as well. We built some AI products as well, and yeah, I have data analysis experience as well, like I mentioned. And apart from just the tech part, the technical part, I have experience with the business side of things, interfacing directly with stakeholders and consumers. So I believe those are the things that we'll cover in this conversation, because I believe we have product managers as well in this on this call, not only technical, the code people, if I put it that way. Yes, so no, okay, great. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the two C's of teamwork. And one of the reasons why this conversation is important is that, first of all, you can't do everything alone. And even if you start out alone, like I said, there's some skill of projects that you come across if you are growing, and eventually you need to be able to work within a team. And in fact, you can do more, you can be more effective, you can be more efficient when you are working with a team. Now, if we don't collaborate or communicate properly, working with a team or within a team or from a team which is supposed to help you deliver better is going to drag down. I've seen examples of when a project was being carried out by perhaps one single person, and then by working with a team, the project now got slowed down. And that's because they didn't understand the dynamics of being able to work together. So I think that's one thing that we should be able to take, first of all, from this conversation, that if we don't, as much as possible, have the keys and the ingredients, which is what we're going to talk about today, that ensures that your team is able to deliver optimally, your team is going to drag you down, or maybe drag the team down, either ways. And so let's start with collaboration. What is collaboration? Think of So collaboration is being able to, in my own words anyway, is being able to partner with others or effectively contribute as part of a group to a common goal. It's quite important that the goal is set first of all, and when the goal is set, now when we talk about a group, there should always be a team lead. Why this is important? A team lead, or um, they can be an assistant as well, dependent on the complexity of the group. But it's quite important that in a group there should always be a team lead, because the team lead can be able to always ensure that you are driving everyone back to the goal. Because as you start getting into the details of the goal or your project or your product in this case, there's the possibility of being carried away. And especially because there are different ways in which you can get things done. Especially if you are working with a startup, one of the mantras of a startup is, I don't know if you've heard this before, and I should break things fast and move quickly. I don't know if I've heard it before. You can just do a virtual wave if you've heard that before. It got Mark Zuckerberg was someone that got this term even more popular about breaking things and moving quickly. And so while you are doing this, as much as you're moving quickly as a startup, it's quite important that there's quite the possibility to get carried away. And I've seen it many times. And that's one of the reasons why you need a team lead. And that's why we have these systems like having something like the Scrum Master, having the stand-ups. This is just to ensure that as much as possible, everybody is accountable. And to be honest, to ensure that we are still moving on to the same goal and don't get carried away while breaking things. And they are not breaking the wrong things, if I put it that way. Okay, so like I said, collaboration has been able to partner with others, or effectively contribute as parts of a group to a common goal. And I put out some points of what I think that as much as possible you should, as a person now, as an individual, because we're speaking to ourselves individually now, for everybody to see how why collaboration is important to them and how they can effectively collaborate. So the first thing is that do not overstate your role. It's quite important that you do not overstate your role. Over the years, one of the things that you get to see, for some of us that might be in the tech space for a number of time, is perhaps some tech, some people in some certain tech roles. I've seen several examples, maybe the developers speaking down on the roles of the product designers, maybe just saying, they'll just do this now, what was wrong, and the product designer sometimes speaking down on the developers. And sometimes you see it with the product managers as well. So respect is quite important in a group. Without respect, things can quickly go haywire. These are grounds that we need to, as much as possible, be able to respect each other's role and everybody's contribution, and do not overstate your role. Because to be honest, the truth is this: if we put you in the seats of the other person, you might not be able to deliver as much as the person is delivering. And so you want to not overstate your role and respect everyone's contribution. It is so important in collaboration. And then the next thing is it's more about confidence now, because the truth is this: you might have value, but if you don't have the confidence to contribute those values, then you might not, your value might not really be showing the sum total of the strength of the team, if I put it that way. So you must be able to know what your contribution is, as much as possible. And maybe I'll explain that a little bit about knowing what your contribution is. When you are confident and you know what your contribution is, you can be able to give ideas and suggestions, especially when there are team meetings, brainstorming sessions. You can give correct ideas. I don't know if and some of us have experienced it when we were in primary school or secondary school. Even in this age, there are some people that say experience it. I think I've experienced it too, some while back, to being an adult, where perhaps you know the answer to something, or you know the better way in which to go about something, and then you're not speaking. When everybody has spoken and perhaps you've left the area, you are now whispering to somebody's ears, maybe your friend beside you, that this is how we should have done this. So that he think this way, but well, but but well, and then you move on with it. But then your contribution might have really, really helped the team, and in fact, it's going to spotlight you as well. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons why some people speaking individually now seems to be bypassed. Maybe when it's time for promotions and all that stuff. So majorly because they do have the value to give, but they are not confident enough to know that their contribution is worth something. And so you need to, first of all, know overstate your role, and then know what your contribution is, know what your contribution is, and be confident enough to give that contribution. Know that your contribution matters as much as possible. So while these two things are important, is because if you overstate your role, there's a possibility that when you give reasonable contributions, it might not be taken. Note that it is a contribution, it is a suggestion of a better way. But then if you don't present it properly, and that's what's going to lead us into the other part called the communication. If you don't present it properly, it's quite possible that your contribution might be taken out of context. And so as much as possible, that's why no overstating your role is important. So yes, you want to contribute, you have, in fact, might be a product designer, and perhaps you have ideas on how the back end guy is supposed to, or the back end developer now in this case, is supposed to maybe work on the APIs, or for some reason you just have some ideas of how to structure a database or something that they're explaining. And if that doesn't mean that the back, so if because you're a product designer doesn't mean you can contribute to or give your suggestion on how that can be worked on. I've seen various examples, and perhaps to close it, maybe I'll just give one example of when somebody in another role was advising about how another person in another role was supposed to go about it and how it went so well. So those occasions come up, and that is quite possible. But then if you come in a brash way and you are trying to advise the person, there's the possibility that the other person might become defensive, and that I'm supposed to be the expert in this place now, and see what's, especially because of the way you presented the idea. So as much as possible, first, like I said, first of all, do not overstate your role. Know what your contribution is, and know that your contribution matters. And so in the team, everybody needs to be very confident, because the sum confidence of members of the group will determine the overall boldness the group will portray when you are facing situations, especially in a startup setting. A startup setting is like, permit me to use the word, is like a jungle war in a startup setting, because they are faced with a number of things. I've actually had the opportunity to lead technology for a number of startups, and also have started up my own companies as well. And you need to be bold as much as possible for you to survive. I remember, and I'll give an example here. I once had a meeting with a founder and tech lead. And they were just getting into the AI space, and they've had a product, an MVP, for about, I think, 2+ years now. And they're trying as much as possible to integrate AI into their product. And for some reason, I was in that meeting with them. And they're not based in Nigeria. The company is the company in, I won't say the country, but the company is somewhere in Europe. And let me give us a tip now. There are many companies outside Nigeria, many companies in Europe, US, that come to Nigeria to hire now, because Nigeria is known to have very rich talents. So I'm just putting that out there. So in case you're not putting yourself out there, you're a product designer, you're a product manager, web developer, mobile developer, there are so many opportunities out there now. So you need to put yourself out, because they are looking for you, I'll put it that way. So anyway, I had this conversation with these guys, and one of the things they mentioned was how for them getting into the AI space has been very tough, and it seems that there's more expectation of them because of their race, permit me to say, and the color of their skin and all that stuff. So the more is expected of them. Now somebody can just come out and try to raise for a startup without having an MVP, just presents, and because the person's color looks different and all that stuff, can easily raise. I'm just talking about their own points, but their point of view is that they seem to really need to prove what they are doing before they could get the backing that they needed. And so that's why I say as much as possible, you need to be confident, because the sum total of the confidence of the group will show in the boldness that the group will portray, especially in a startup setting. And that leads me to communication. So remember what I said about collaboration? That first of all, you should not overstate your role. You should know what your contribution is. You should know, and then you should know that your contribution matters. I've been able to, because I've had time to think about this, and I've compressed a lot of things under that in collaboration. I think those are the most important things that I should take note of in collaboration. Yeah. And so in communication is effectively relaying one's mind or intention to another or a group of people. So for example, now I'm communicating with us, and one of the things that you should ensure while communicating is that you should ensure that you are communicating clearly. Clarity is so important in communication. If the communication is not clear, then there is no need for the communication at all, because that's the reason for the communication. Some of the things that help with communications is perhaps having within a team now, within a product team. I don't know if you've heard of, I don't think product designers here will know this, a mood board. You know what a mood board is? A mood board where perhaps they are trying to relate with everybody else in the team or clients, and then you want to just ensure that everybody is in the same page before you even start designing. You create a mood board and all that. So that's part of communication in this case for a product designer to others. And so, but you want to ensure that it is clear, communication is clear. And sometimes, because what you are doing is communicating, you might try to, and it's part of the point that I'm speaking, you don't have to show all the skills that you have when you're communicating, because the goal is to effectively relay your mind and your intention. So it's not really about you in this case, is about that the other person receives, or the group receives what you want them to receive. So I know you've learned a lot about colors. I know you've learned so much about for the developers now, you know so much technical terms. And can I also add this, just a plus to this conversation? One of the things that sometimes separates when we have interviews with different developers is the one that is able to communicate clearly what they have done. Because you can come and say so much. I'm a developer as well, so I know you forgive me if I say jargons. You might come and say put on so much technical terms that you created this API and making use of Django REST framework and JWT for the authentication and all that stuff. Wonderful. But then what did you achieve with that? And in my early years, I think that was something that I needed to grow out of, because you have this, you know your work, you know your stuff, but then you have to be able to communicate clearly and communicate the impact. So as much as possible, ensure to communicate clearly. Be humble, if I put it that way. Be humble. You don't have to show your skills in that communication. It's just ensure that you deliver the message as clearly as possible. So there might be some instances when you have to choose between clarity and less words. Because when we say clarity, some people think clarity means less words, but they are different. Sometimes you might explain more to make the thing clear to the other person. I don't know if you get what I mean. So clarity does not always mean less words. And what I advise is this: if you ever come to that time where you need to choose between clarity and less words, pick clarity. Because when you force using less words in those instances, you might not be communicating fully all the things that you want to communicate. And then you've not achieved what you want to achieve at that point in time. So as much as possible, they are trying to summarize, they are trying to be concise. You want to ensure that you are clear while still being concise. So if you ever face in that situation where you need to choose between clarity and less words, pick clarity. Picking clarity can mean perhaps you add the picture to it to make it clearer. and all that stuff. So another point we should bear in mind is that it all boils down to what the people you are communicating to, what they want to hear. So ensure the information received is what you intend. There are several situations whereby the information that you are passing across in your mind, you think you have said this, but then what the other person or what the group heard is something else. And then, especially if you are perhaps the team lead or the assistant, or you are the point man in that case, whereby what you are saying is going to direct what the others are going to do. It is when perhaps the next stand up or the time when they report, you now find out that you are not on the same page. So one of the things that helps with this is you can ask questions. You can politely ask questions, just to be sure, or give the other person room to talk about that thing you're communicating on, just to ensure that you communicated clearly. So it boils down to ensure that the information received is what you intend. Because I want to leave enough room for questions, I'll just jump to my last point. So, as much as possible, avoid over complicating information dissemination. As much as possible, avoid over complicating it, because there are instances whereby you are communicating a matter and then you think that, okay, giving this example will help to make this thing clearly, to communicate this thing better. And then when you give the example, and your example totally scatters the whole matter again. So it's not every time that you give an example. It's every time you give an example. And in case it is a physical meeting, or a meeting whereby everybody's cameras is out, you can just check people's faces, check their expressions, just to ensure that what you've communicated has been disseminated properly and they received the information properly. And as much as possible, avoid over complicating it. And I think I'll leave the room now for questions. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow, wow. Please, please, let's give him a round of applause. Please, let's give him a round. I don't know why we are so quiet. This is amazing. I was expecting to see different emojis as he was talking, because he was making some points that, you know, that even had to do with some of the things that we ourselves had experienced one or sometimes ago. So it's really amazing that we are having this conversation. It's really amazing that we are having this conversation. All right, now for decorum's sake, if you have any question, kindly raise up your hand. If you have any question, just show me, just raise a hand. Any question around communication, any question around collaboration, any question around something that you have tried to do, but maybe at the end of the day, it didn't sit well. This is the time where you ask questions. You guys called for this, so now it's question time. Question time. Okay, before the question, do I call someone to summarize, since we are dealing with communication? So do I call someone to summarize everything that they got from what Rotimi said? Do I? Why are we quiet? Okay. Is Hannah on the call? Hannah, are you on the call? Hannah, can you unmute? Hannah, can you unmute? Okay. I see Boluwatife is raising up a hand. But before then, Anna, can you unmute? Hannah, Olonitola. I'm not sure I pronounced that right. Anna, can you unmute? Is Anna with us? Going. All right, gone. All right, so I think Oniboluwatife, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much, ma.
You're welcome.
And I'd like to say a very big thank you to Mr. Mr. Rotimi for that beautiful session. Because for me personally, I have issue with communication and collaboration. But the two things he said when he was talking about collaboration was that stood out for me was when he said, know what your contribution is. Know what your contribution is. And he said that it must be spoken properly, like it must be communicated properly. And another thing that he said was when he said that know that I should know that my contribution matters. There are many times that personally for me, as he mentioned, as he used it as an example, that we know the answer, but somehow we just feel like that's not what it is, like people are not going to accept it. And for the longest, I felt like I've always suffered this thing. And when I hear other people saying their own contribution, I still feel like my contribution will really make sense if I say it. But somehow, I won't say maybe it's self-esteem or something. I just feel like they are not going to accept it or something like that. So that one stood for me when during the collaboration talk. So the communication one, it says that if I'm to choose anything between clarity and less word, it should be clarity. Sometimes I normally feel like maybe I'm over explaining, or maybe the person is not getting what I'm saying. But I feel like when he said clarity, we should make sure that the rest of the team gets what we are saying than less word. So he also said something that stood out for me, that I should avoid overcomplicating dissemination of information. I should not complicate it. I should not use big grammar. I should use words that other team member can relate with and they can easily understand the message I'm trying to pass. So those are the things that stood out for me. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Boluwatife.
Wow. Thank you so much, Boluwatife. Oops, sorry about this. Sorry about that. Those are ads. Thank you so much, Boluwatife. And I'm thinking that I have a diagnosis for one of the issues you raised, and that diagnosis is imposter syndrome. So maybe one of these days we'll still talk about the imposter syndrome, where you know you have it, but somehow you feel that maybe something other people would say may be better off than yours, and then you fall short or you feel short of I am short. But you then feel shorter. You just feel like oh, this thing, I don't think I can. I don't think people would grab. I don't think people would get. I don't think I am as good as people who are talking. And you know the funny thing is you may even be better. In fact, not probability communication now, but you are better. If you always tell yourself in any room you enter that you are better, the sincere truth is you find yourself being better at every stage and at every time. So maybe we would still talk about imposter syndrome, but that may not be today. So let me call someone. If you have a question, please, you can either write your question if you don't want to talk. You can write your question if you don't want to talk. But may I have a question for Rotimi? Now, in a space where we are in a team and maybe I am a team lead, I'm communicating with people, I'm trying to get the engineers to do some things, I'm trying to get the designers to do some things, but it seems like they are not getting me. What do I do?
Thank you very much. Um, okay, so we are trying to get these. Let me just get it in context. So the team lead in this
Yes.
case is trying to get the um, perhaps you need to get the designer and the developers now to work together for a certain thing, or they are
Yes.
like different tasks for designer, but then it's sort of difficult for designer to communicate to get it, because it can be two things now. It can be a collaboration issue, communication issue. So yeah, so is it
Yes.
yeah, so is it a case of
Communication issue first.
okay, communication issue now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. So I think as much as possible, you can have a one-on-one, like in groups now. If it's more than one product designer, meet with the product designer separately, meet the web developers separately, because that's one of the reasons why it helps if the product manager in this case, or the leader in this case, has some technical background, because if you meet them together, it's most likely that the language that you speak, you're speaking to two technical parts. To meet them separately, try to be
Yeah.
speak the design language, if I put it that way, as much of it that you understand, and also try to meet with the developer separately. And so that's one way that can help. So in case the leader in this case is not that technical, one of the things that you can do is, and it's even what I'm about to say is a good way to go. You can look out for one of the product designers that can start leading, somebody that you know that is good with communication among the product designer, and then among the web developer as well. Somebody that can like maybe be your assistant, if I put it that way. More like a group lead, if I informal group lead, that can maybe to have sit downs with and just communicate as much as possible. Of course, because you don't want to put too much bureaucracy between you and the whole team. You still meet with the whole team, but you have further conversations with that single person, and so that person is able to rein everybody in. And that's why you see that as organizations get bigger, you start to see things like product designer lead, or back
Yeah.
exactly. So that's the reason for that, to bridge that gap in communication as well. So those are two ways to go about it. Separate them. If you can speak their technical lingo, speak designer language to designers, speak the developer language to developers. And but if there's still more barriers there, try to see at least there should be, if there are more than one in each part, try to pick somebody that can like be a sort of lead among them, that I can have further conversations with. And even the person can even help communicate so that, because the thing is, peers talk to each other a lot. And so if there are issues, that person is the lead to be able to, yeah, we know what is going on and be able to communicate it to you that, this is the issue that is going on. No, because it might be that they actually got what you explained and then something else is going on. But since that person is not taking responsibility among that group, you communicate it to you that this is actually what's going on. I hope that answers.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
But can we hear me clearly? I hope my network is not glitching, because
Yes.
I just want to confirm. Okay. 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 Now we have one question here, but I have another question. So I would ask the question from Boluwatife first. Then I would ask my question next. So it says, how do one become better with communication? Like in my head, I know what to say, but somehow couldn't articulate it better to the rest of the team members. So how can one become better with communication?
Thank you for the question, Bulatife. So communication so there are some things that you can mostly learn by practice. You can't get better at communication by reading about communication. In fact, it's so nice that we're having this session, but however, you still need to go and practice some of these things that we've said for you to get better at it. So it comes by practice. And let me give this example. I think it's relevant. It might be relevant to our discussion. I remember I was working at a company, and I had a mentor over me. I was doing my internship some years ago, and whenever they give me tasks, we do a lot of communication through emails. It was my first job in a corporate environment, and so I remember I was writing long emails, trying to. But eventually, I found out that I wasn't really communicating. They were not getting what I was saying. But thank God for the mentor. The mentor sat me down and started crafting my emails with me. He told me that I can take time on my emails before sending it. And so I was spending hours, literally hours, to send a single email. But then with that practice, again and again and again. Now, if I want to send an email now, I can do it depending on the complexity of the email, I can do it between 1 minute to 5 minutes. But then there were those years where I was sitting hours to get better at it. So that's written communication. It's same thing as well for verbal communication. Communicate as much as possible. Try talking, especially among your friends. You can talk and then try to find out if they grab or if they understand what you're saying, and try to get feedbacks. It's something that you can actively work on and get better at. So yes, you mentioned that, but somehow you could articulate it better to the rest of the team members. Trust me, this one is by practice, and you're going to get better by practice. Yeah. So any opportunity you have to communicate. All those ideas that you mentioned that you've been having, contribute them. Those are platforms for you to try out your communication.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rotimi. So I would go to my next question. But please, does anyone have any other question? Does anyone have any question to ask? If you have a question, you want to talk, please raise up your hand. Please raise up your hand. You have the floor. I told us not to miss this opportunity. We don't know when next Mr. Rotimi will be coming to join us again. No. We don't know when next he'll be coming to join us. So please ask your question. Now, my next question is this. So we are in a team and we have passed our deadline. We have actually passed the deadline that, the company has given us to maybe finish that part, to get that particular feature online, or to get that particular feature out so that people can, or to get the MVP out. Now, how do I, as a product manager, communicate with my developers that they should work more effectively, so that even though we have passed the deadline, we shouldn't go further than, that deadline that we have passed? Or what if we are very close to the deadline? Maybe we are 2 weeks to the deadline, or we are 3 weeks to the deadline, and it's not even looking like we are going to finish this in the next 2 to 3 weeks. How do I communicate with my engineers, with my developers, with my designers that all hands on deck? If you like, you will not sleep, or you won't eat, no breakfast, no lunch, no dinner until we are done with this. How do I communicate that and then they don't hang me?
Well, I think what you just said is actually what to do anyway, to put everybody on the hot seat. But then I think one of the things before even doing the communication about trying to urge them is to find out what has happened, why that delay has happened, because I think many things will have been factored into the time that was given for the project itself. So there's need to actually find out what has happened that's caused the delay, and there can be like a introspection within among the team members to find out what has happened that's causing the delay. Because even if put everybody furthermore on the hot seat, if that situation is not tackled, it will even still push the time to deliver more. So I think the first thing as much as possible is to just have the team lead to have an introspection and meet with the other team members too. You need to face the fact that we're already in this situation. Don't deny that you're not in this situation. You need to face the fact that I'm in this situation, and then try to find out what the problem actually is. And so when you find out what the problem is, try to tackle and remove that problem. It might be a bottleneck, it might be something, but try to tackle that first. So I think the communication, I think this is more of a collaboration thing. So yeah, so as much as possible, try to get everybody together and let's see how we can find out what has caused the delay. And if it's just I want to find out what has caused the delays, everybody put as hands on deck as much as possible to get delay solved. But depending on what the problem is, you need to let there be and let somebody own the issue. While as much as possible, if there are other parts of the projects that can progress, if the problem is not something that stops the other people from progressing, let's everybody else still progress with the project. But somebody should be assigned to own that situation so that at least everybody does not just forget that we have not solved this matter and just keep working. That's causing the delay. So let at least somebody, depending on how large the team is or a group of people, emergency team, let them
Yeah.
own that matter and see how I can get what is causing the lag out of the problem. But definitely everybody needs to get on the hot seat.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hannah, I just got your message. That's not a problem. Do we have any other question or do you want to speak now, Hannah? Do you want to speak now, Hannah?
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
I'm so sorry that I could not respond.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So and I'm so sorry also because I did not follow like that because I have a lot of patients here. So I'm so sorry.
Good afternoon, Anna.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
please.
No problem. It's fine. Okay. Is Christiana on the call? Christiana Ogunleke. You can unmute yourself, ask a question or an addition.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ma. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Christiana.
Yeah. Okay, I was able to pick some things from what he said. And it's just about contributing to how to contribute when someone is communicating, not to have much word or less word, to just be clear with whatever we're talking about. And then the one that resonated with me was the one that he talked about when he said, when someone wants to say something, maybe you are trying to contribute to something, and you have that thing, you know it, but you find it difficult to say it out. So I was able to pick that too, and I will work on that. Because there are sometimes I'll know something, I will not want to say it out. Because I'll be thinking, if I say it out, will it be correct? And I'll find out that if somebody else says it, it now becomes the correct thing. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Christiana. I want to call Miriam. Miriam Hassan. Miriam Hassan. I don't know if the correct pronunciation is Mariam or Miriam.
Okay, good afternoon. Anyone is fine. Miriam. It's actually Miriam Sumbi.
Miriam
But
Toby.
fan is popping up, yes.
All
Because I
right.
use my maiden name. Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, I think he touched on a lot of things, communication, clarity, and then the use of ambiguous words, not to use ambiguous words, particularly with respect to developers, product designers, then product managers. But I think the most important that you've touched on is actually the communication, because I believe most people nowadays, just like Esther said, have this imposter syndrome. Like they have what to say, they have it in their mind, but they are scared. People are pretty afraid of, oh, if I say it, will it be the correct thing? Why don't you just give it a shot? Like, why don't you say it first and let people even correct you? before you're already shooting yourself before you even have the opportunity to be aired. So I think, thank you for the presentation. At least I believe with this now, it will make everyone, even within the group, be able to, speak their opinion, even when they need to be corrected. At least, yes, there are times that you might need to be corrected, and it's okay if you don't get it the first time. I know I am coming from a generation of people telling me that, getting it the first time right or not getting it at all. But, things are changing. We are now in a generation of you're allowed to make that mistake. Even if what you're trying to communicate is wrong the first time. I believe, as you go on, you have somebody, like you said, you have a mentor, someone saying, oh, okay, so maybe you shouldn't have communicated it this way. But at least let people have your opinion first. Don't be the judge of your own case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Thank you,
so
Miriam.
Yeah, that was lovely. And I have a feel, wrote in me that social media has made this communication thing a bit vague. And this is just my own thoughts here. Now, social media, especially X, has a place where the moment you just put your opinion out there, you have sharks, you have whales that will just make you feel like everything you have said is trash. And then you start to second guess yourself. You start to feel, or you may even have friends, apart from maybe social media now, you may have friends that know how to talk down on you a lot. You know how to tell you, you put up a point and then they just say, oh, what's this one saying? You don't even know what you are talking about. It has done more, it has caused more havoc than building confident people. It has made people second guess themselves. It has made people keep quiet and just become doom scrollers rather than being people that make things happen. That's just my own wild thoughts. Just my wild thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, should I say something to that?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. And then we just call it a close. So that you
Okay. So I think one of the opportunities that social media gives us is social media gives us the opportunity to express our opinion.
Yes.
So one of the things we should have in mind is that the way it gives us the opportunity to express our opinions, it also allows anybody else to express their opinions about even what you say. It's
Okay.
like democratizing, allowing everybody have their opinions. Apart from maybe when somebody is going AY and speaking some racial things that perhaps the social media platform has is against their rules. But aside that, it gives everybody the opportunity to have their opinion. So that's why I say social media is not the best place to learn effective communication, if I put it that way. But social media gives you an opportunity to express your opinion. So I think that's the view that we should have when we go out to social media. And if you can take the heat, no problem. Because the truth is this. Let me give an example. There are speakers that have had, this is what they do for a living, speaking. They have large followings on social media. They have other stuff. But then in some of their talks, they talk about facing the same thing too. In fact, there's one of them, I don't mention his name, has millions of views and international acclaim, was talking about how he doesn't like to read comments again because he was saying that people don't understand that even though he's speaking out and being a speaker and all that, he's still a human too. So it means they were getting to him as well. So this thing is getting to everybody, even people that they speak for a profession. So social media is not fully the place to effectively learn communication, but be aware that it is a place to express your opinion and allows other people as well to express their opinion. One of the things that can just help you is maybe you can do like what that speaker did. He said he doesn't read comments again. And then he tries to understand that there are several types of people online. So I think that's why I can put in about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll be calling it a close, but before then, is there anyone that wants to say something? Is there anyone who wants to say something? Anyone going? Anyone going? All right. So before Mr. Rotimi leaves us, you can just talk about your social media handle, maybe on LinkedIn, if anyone wants to reach out to you, or maybe they want to, collaborate with you, or you want to collaborate with them. So you can just share your social media handles so that they can reach you on those spaces.
Okay, so on LinkedIn, I'm Rotimi Olasende. Abimbola, I'm typing it now on the message. So you can reach out mostly on LinkedIn. I mostly reply messages on LinkedIn, and this is my personal email. You can reach out. So this is my LinkedIn and this is my email. You can reach
Oh,
out anytime.
so
I'm definitely going to respond. Yeah.
all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rotimi. Thank you so much from Velarix.
Thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
having
much
me.
for all of us here.